founding day. President conveys greetings to Governor General jurisdiction. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to PSM News. And now the news in detail. To King Salman bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud and Crown Prince and Prime Minister Mohammed bin Salman bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud, Dr. Mohammad Muizzu extended his sincere congratulations and blessings to the Saudi leadership and the people as they celebrate their nation's founding day. He also expressed wishes for the kingdom's continued progress, prosperity, security and stability. The founding day of Saudi Arabia commemorates the establishment of the first Saudi state and is celebrated annually on 22nd February. President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu conveys greetings and good wishes from the government and the people of the Maldives to Governor General Cyril E.M. Charles, Prime Minister Philip Joseph Pierre, the government and the people of St. Lucia on the occasion of their Independence Day. In separate messages to the leaders, President Dr. Muizzu also extended his personal best wishes for their good health and happiness, and for their continued progress and prosperity of the people of St. Lucia. The Independence Day of St. Lucia marks the country having become an independent state on 22nd February 1979. President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu designates Borifinoru Lamu Atoll under the jurisdiction of Gun in the same atoll. The President's decision was announced in a presidential decree issued by the President's office. The decree was issued under Article 156A of the Decentralization Act, which grants the President the authority to determine the jurisdiction of city councils and island councils across all administrative areas of the Maldives. According to the decree, the President made the changes as he considers it necessary to revise the jurisdiction of the city councils and the island councils, the administrative areas of the country as outlined in a presidential decree issued on 18 March 2020. As per the amendment, if the jurisdiction of a council includes a resort or industrial island, the resort or industrial island will be removed from the council's jurisdiction. If an uninhabited island falls under the jurisdiction of two councils, the uninhabited island will be removed from the jurisdiction of both councils. The decree, as well as a chart detailing the jurisdictional change, has now been published in the Gazette. The Minister of Economic Development and Trade, Muhammad Saeed, states the President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu's efforts to promote Maldivian products in the international market are yielding positive results. He made the statement following an agreement signed between local company Ensis Fisheries Private Limited and a mainland Chinese company to export fish products to China under the Maldives-China Free Trade Agreement, FTA. The signing ceremony was held in Beijing, China under the FTA, which came into force on 1st of January. The agreement was signed in Ensis Fisheries, General Manager Hussein Afif and Xinguang Shou, Beijing Commercial Management Corporation Limited's chairman. The ceremony was attended by Maldivian Ambassador to China, Dr. Fazil Najib, State Minister for Fisheries and Ocean Resources, Dr. Amzad Ahmad, as well as representatives from major Chinese media outlets. Under the agreement, Ensis Fisheries will export its fish products to China, including canned tuna and frozen tuna. The first shipment is scheduled to be exported to China mid-March to Beijing. The products will also be sold in provinces near Beijing as well as online platforms. Minister Said congratulated Ensis Fisheries on its preparations for entering the Chinese market under the Free Trade Agreement. He credited the President's efforts to facilitate the international sale of Maldivian products in the international market and stated the results of his swift steps are now becoming evident. The Maldives-China Free Trade Agreement, FTA, will expand exports and re-exports, the government had previously said. The government notes that the processing and export of Maldivian fish products and other goods will be facilitated for the Maldives, which will create new business and employment opportunities. While China has a population of over 1.41 billion, economic experts suggest that access to such a large market will accelerate the growth of the Maldives' businesses and economy. Minister of Islamic Affairs Dr. Muhammad Shaheen Ali Saeed announces the Maldives Zakat House's upcoming launch of a mechanism to facilitate the collection of charitable donations from the public, encouraging acts of giving and generosity. These public contributions in the forms of sadaqat, khairat and wakaf will be allocated to various charitable purposes. Minister Shaheen disclosed that discussions have been conducted with the Maldives Inland Revenue Authority, MIRA, to establish this collection mechanism. The deliberations included Minister Shaheen, senior officials from the Zakat House, and the Commissioner General of Taxation, Hassan Zarir. The primary goal of this new mechanism is to promote charity, said Minister Shaheen. He highlighted the importance of increasing public contributions to support societal development. Dr. Shaheen underscored the pressing need for resources and equipment in mosques and Quran classes in the outer islands. He said the Maldives Zakat House is being developed in line with the successful model of the Kuwaiti Zakat House. Minister Shaheen also commended President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu for his exemplary attention and priority given to this initiative. He acknowledged the significant progress made by the current administration in enhancing the zakat system in the Maldives compared to the previous administrations. Established on 18 December 2023, the Zakat House is tasked with the collection and distribution of zakat, including zakat al-mal, wealth, and zakat al-fitr, fast breaking. The institution aims to alleviate poverty by providing financial support to those in need, such as debt relief and medical assistance. Additionally, the Zakat House raises public awareness about the importance of zakat and investments in Sharia-approved areas to maximize community benefits. Police launches an investigation into a social media threat made against Foreign Minister Dr. Abdullah Khalil. While the details of the incident have not been disclosed, Maldives Police Service said the matter had come to their attention and confirmed that authorities are investigating the matter. It has been reported that the threat was made during the foreign minister's official visit to Sri Lanka. The individual responsible is believed to be a Sri Lankan citizen who was previously deported from the Maldives. The Waste Management Corporation Limited WAMCO officially adds Diddu Ha Alif Atoll to its ever-expanding network of waste management services throughout the country. The service in Diddu was officially launched by the Minister of Tourism and Environment, Tariq Ibrahim, during a ceremony in the island. Speaking during the ceremony, Minister Tariq said the WAMCO's venture into the island will benefit the environment as well as the health and well-being of its residents as well as local businesses. The launch of WAMCO's waste management service in Diddu follows President Dr. Muizzu's pledge to fast-track the introduction of the service during a recent visit to the island as part of a tour of several islands in the atoll. Minister Tariq pointed out that the sustainable and environmentally friendly waste management practices begin with children. Speaking during the ceremony, WAMCO's Managing Director Mujtaba Jalil said the company will continue to expand its services to all islands in the country, adding that its staff will always be ready to do whatever is necessary for company growth. The government has also launched a national waste management plan to ensure environmentally friendly practices at every stage, from the source of waste production to the disposal of water at regional waste management centers. The plan aims to find a permanent solution to the waste management challenges faced by the country. Extending their sell-off in the wake of Dow Economics reports and closing the book on a holiday-shortened week fraught with new tariff threats and worries of softening consumer demand.
All three major U.S. stock indexes moved decisively lower on the heels of the data and continued their slide into afternoon trading. All three also posted steep weekly losses.
Today you get flash PMIs that show maybe the economy is a little bit weaker than investors anticipated, particularly on the services side of the economy, which has been a big driver of growth. And that's all it took. Markets reacted a little bit negatively, a little bit of whiff or fear of stagflation again, with inflation remaining steady and some of these growth metrics coming in a little soft, retail sales in January as well.
This week, U.S. President Donald Trump said he will soon announce new tariffs covering lumber and forest products, in addition to previously announced plans to impose duties on imported cars, semiconductors, and pharmaceuticals.
Yeah, I think the biggest issue right now with the things that are going on in Washington is less the results and more just the uncertainty, right? Because all businesses want to do, if you read any of the Fed governor reports when they go and talk to small businesses, or if you read the commentary in the PMI reports, all businesses want is the rules to the game. They just want to know the rules. they generally say, look, we're fine with tariffs. We just need to know what they are so we can adjust our supply chains and think about pricing going forward.
The S&P 500 lost 104.39 points or 1.71% to end at 6,013.13 points, while the Nasdaq Composite lost 438.36 points or 2.20% to 19,524.01. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 748.63 points or 1.69% to 43,428.02.
The United Nations Security Council calls on Rwanda's military to stop supporting the M23 rebel group in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo and immediately withdraw all troops from Congolese territory without preconditions. The 15-member council unanimously adopted a French-drafted resolution urging the DRC and Rwanda to return to diplomatic talks to achieve a lasting peaceful resolution.
The M23 has captured the two largest cities in eastern Congo, stoking fears of a wider war. Rwanda denies allegations from Congo and the UN that it supports the M23 with arms and troops. The UN resolution strongly condemns the ongoing offensive and advances of the M23 in North Kivu and South Kivu with the support of Rwanda Defense Forces and demands that M23 immediately stop its hostilities and withdraw. Congo says Rwanda has used the M23 as a proxy to loot its minerals such as gold and coltan used in smartphones and computers. The U.S. has imposed sanctions on a Rwandan minister and a senior rebel for their alleged role in the conflict. The resolution also condemns support by Congolese troops to specific armed groups, in particular the FDLR, and calls for the cessation of such support and for the urgent implementation of commitments to neutralize the group. Rwanda accuses Congo of fighting FDLR, the Democratic Forces for the Liberation of Rwanda. But the government has continued to use FDLR. The escalation of a decade-old insurgency has killed several with the U.S.
Karen Bass said she removes Fire Chief Kristen Crowley for her handling of the 16,000 structures charring an area bigger than Paris.
Bass said at a news conference on February 21 that Crowley sent home 1,000 firefighters on the day the fires erupted and that Crowley had refused to do a required after-action report on the blazes. The mayor named Ronnie Villanueva the city's interim fire chief and said they are starting a new search for a permanent leader for the department. Villanueva recently retired from the fire department after 41 years, most recently serving as chief deputy of emergency operations.
Acting in the best interest of Los Angeles public safety and for the operations of the Los Angeles Fire Department, I just met with Chief Crowley and removed her as fire chief. I have appointed a 41-year veteran of the fire department, former Chief Deputy Ronald Villanueva, as interim fire chief.
Bass said the president of the city's fire commission told Crowley to complete an after-action report as part of an investigation of the fires and that it is required by the city. Crowley was asked to do the report this week, Bass said.
As you know, I have called for a full investigation of everything leading up to January 7th. A necessary step to the investigation was the president of the Fire Commission telling Chief Crowley to do an after-action report on the fires. The fire chief refused. We all know that 1,000 firefighters that could have been on duty on the morning the fires broke were instead sent home on Chief Crowley's watch. These actions required her removal.
Bass said Los Angeles is no longer in a state of emergency. She did not want to take any action such as removing Crowley while the city was fighting the fires or during the damaging rains that came after. Los Angeles is now recovering from the blazes that devastated homes and businesses, with workers removing toxic debris as part of the cleanup. Bass's office later released a statement saying that it had been informed Crowley would exercise her civil service rights to stay with the fire department at a lower rank. U.S.
President Donald Trump urges Russian President Vladimir Putin and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to work together, while adding that Russia wanted to do a deal.
Trump also said the U.S. was close to signing a minerals deal with Ukraine.
I think that President Putin and President Zelensky are going to have to get together because you know what? We want to stop killing millions of people. You have young soldiers being killed. If you saw the pictures that I saw of the battlefield from satellite, you've never seen any pictures like that.
Trump has been pushing for a deal to end the war in Ukraine soon and has held separate calls with both leaders.
I think we're pretty close, yeah. I think they want it, and they feel good about it, and it's significant, it's a big deal, but they want it, and it keeps us in that country, and they're very happy about it. But it's we get our money back. This should have been signed long before we went in. This should have been signed by Biden, but Biden didn't know too much about what he was doing. The war should have never happened.
His top officials recently met their Russian counterparts in Saudi Arabia in talks that did not include Ukraine. Trump also recently called Zelensky a dictator.
Russian teenage sensation Mira Andreeva continued her giant-slaying exploits at the Dubai Tennis Championships by upsetting Kazakhstani 6th seed Elena Rybakina 6-4, 4-6, 6-3 in the semi-finals. Denmark's Clara Tauson set up a final showdown with Andreeva after overcoming Karolina Muchova 6-4, 6-7, 6-3. Andreeva, who had stunned 5 times Grand Slam champion Iga Swiatek in the quarters and former Wimbledon winner Marketa Vondrousova in the round of 32, is the youngest player to reach a WTA 1000 final. The 17-year-old French Open semi-finalist also becomes the youngest player to beat 3 Grand Slam winners at a single event since compatriot Maria Sharapova in 2004. Wimbledon 2022 champion Rybakina, ranked 7th in the world, led a slender 2-1 lead slip, a tight opening as momentum swung back and forth before Andreeva came out on top. However, Rybakina forced a decider following a close second set where she had built a 4-3 lead, and just as she looked to run away with the win after racing to a 3-1 lead in the final set, Andreeva rode back to win 5 successive games. With the victory, world number 14 Andreeva also avenged her 2023 Beijing round of 16 defeat against Rybakina. Tauson, who knocked out world number 1 Aryna Sabalenka in the last 16, reached her first WTA 1000 final by toppling 14th seed Muchova. Czech Muchova fought back in the second to force a decider, but 22-year-old Tauson gained the decisive break for a 5-3 lead in the third set before finally clinching victory in a battle that lasted almost 3 hours. Al Ettifaq scored late to snatch a stunning 3-2 win away to Al Nassr in their Saudi Pro League match in Riyadh on February 21st. After a goalless first half, Ayman Yahya broke the deadlock for the hosts moments after the break, before Jorginho Wijnaldum drew Al Ettifaq level. Mohamed Al Fatih scored to regain Al Nassr's lead, but the Saudi defender then put the ball in the back of his own net before Wijnaldum stepped up the winner with a minute to spare in regulation time. Al Nassr, who had striker John Duran sent off in the stoppage time, missed the chance to climb up to the third and sit fourth on 44 points, 3 behind Al Qadsiya in the league standings. Al Ittihad, 4 clear at the top of the table, hosts second place Al Hilal. The concept of flying cars has long been a mainstay in imaginings of the future, featuring in films like Blade Runner, The Fifth Element, and Back to the Future. LF Aeronautics believe they are one step closer to making that future a reality.
The California-based company has released videos showing their flying car, an ultralight version of the Aleph Model 0, taking off vertically and traveling over a parked truck. The company said in a news release, this is the first publicly released video of a car driving and taking off vertically. The company said the test was carried out without any danger to the public and without any safety issues. Aleph Aeronautics CEO Jim Duchovny told Reuters via Zoom that he hopes the video will have a significant impact.
The significance of this video is we really hope that it will be will have a similar impact as the Wright brothers video in the sense that it proves to the humanity that the new mode of transportation is possible. It has the independently verifiable proof that that this new mode of transportation does work and does exist. And we hope it will start some kind of a new market, new economy for this new mode of transportations, which we call flying cars.
Dukhovny said that buying a flying car would be prohibitively expensive as they are not in the manufacturing stage yet, but that prices are likely to go down as more are produced.
Right now, for most people, for the general consumer, it's prohibitively expensive because it's expensive for us to produce one. But it's because it's a very low volume production and it's very inefficient. So it's not optimized for manufacturing. As we go further and it will be optimized for manufacturing, and as the volume increases, the end goal, again, that's not going to be the next year or the year after that, the end goal, it should be actually same level or less expensive than Toyota Corolla, Ford Focus, or anything like that, because it's less complex.
According to Dukhovny, it's hard to estimate when as far as the exact year, but he thinks it is a very gradual process.
And that concludes the news for today. Wish you all a very pleasant day ahead. Thank you.